Podcast. Theme song to Dog Name Podcast with Winston Hodges. Let's just wait for the beat to drop. Theme song. Oh boy. That's the hit. And yeah, what's up? Hey everybody. Welcome to the Dog Name Podcast. I have a dog's name. I'm your host, Winston Hodges, and we're just testing the water, see how this is going to work out. But yeah, welcome to the Dog Name Podcast. If you have the name of a dog, please comment it. We might be doing some dog name giveaways. Quite frankly, I got really tired of every individual named Winston on the internet that's doing better than me being an animal, whether it's a dog or a lizard, bearded dragons specifically. White women are crazy. They've been naming everything Winston, everything but their children, everything but their kids. So welcome. I don't know if my voice sounds normal, but I am a little under the weather. I've had the flu. I've got the flu. I got the flu at Christmas, being home around my family. And, I haven't performed in almost like 10 days. And, I had to bail on a bunch of stuff. So I'm feeling good. I don't know how, I don't think, people talk about Michael Jordan's flu game. And, I don't even know how he did that now that I have the flu. Every time I get the flu, my number one thought goes to, I don't know how Michael Jordan played basketball like this, because I'm bad at just being sick like this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even good at the being sick part of having the flu. He was out dropping like 45 points, playing in the playoffs. He had the flu game, and then I'm just in the bed crying for my girlfriend to get the dog off of me. So I've been kind of secluded, masking up in the house. Making sure girlfriend, she can stay out and do what she needs to do. To not get sick. And then there's me, and I'm here. I knew I had the flu because a lot of people in my family got it, and so I got back home and I was super sick, and I had to call. I did telehealth. I don't know if anyone's ever done telehealth before. It's convenient. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't really. They're pretty. I don't know how to feel. They're very kind to me on the phone. Initially, like the lady for the telehealth that I used was great about telling me how to do it, gave all my information, gave my insurance information. And then, like, you just kind of wait in line. You just got to keep your phone on. So I'm just sick with my, just naked with my phone on my chest, waiting for, my turn in this whole thing. So we're waiting. And so you don't know what doctor you're going to get. Like, all these doctors, for whatever the health system is, they're just kind of waiting their turn. And I guess in between patients, they just like checking in and writing prescriptions that they shouldn't be able to write. And I had decided, I was like, I know I either have the flu or COVID. Oh, I'm in this line. I should take a COVID test. And I took a COVID test. And before the 15 minutes passed up, the doctor came in and was like a very rude Indian woman, and which is fine. I'm fine with a rude doctor generally, but I'm not feeling super dope. And here's what I don't understand. I'm doing telehealth. I am taking a COVID test. It had like 5 minutes left, and the doctor goes, "Well, have you taken the COVID test yet?" And I go, "Oh yeah, I'm taking one now." And she scoffs and shrugs her shoulders and goes, "How much longer is that going to take?" I said, "I think 5 minutes." And then this woman says to me, "What do you want me to do for 5 minutes?" Anything. I think anything is fine. I would take anything, actually. You could talk to me, have any sort of bedside manner. I feel horrible. But I was the type of sick where I'm just apologizing for no reason, where I'm just like, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry that I'm giving myself a medical test. And so she made me get back in line. I had to get back in the line, and she was like, when your test is done, you can log back in. Did not see her the second time. They just put me back in line. I had to wait another 30 minutes. And they take me, and they see me finally. And the doctor I had telehealth is someone that I've seen in person, and he's very nice. He's a good dude. I liked him. He was fine. He was good. I don't really know how telehealth works because they just were like, hey, we can do one of two things. You could have COVID because the test doesn't mean anything, which is like, if it doesn't mean anything, why did I have to get back in line? Like, why did I even waste a test if you're going to tell me doesn't? And he goes, you probably have the flu and COVID. That's what I was told. I probably have the flu and COVID. And he goes, we can either you can come in person and we can test you, or I can just write you a prescription for both things. Yeah, so I just did that. I just took the prescription. Are you kidding me? Of course I'm going to do the prescription for both things. I'm not going to come in. If coming in was an option, I wouldn't do telehealth. Like, how far away are we from like having drones just coming and being able to like take my temperature and do what I need to do? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm taking the temperature. I gave myself the COVID test. But it looks like I didn't have to do any of that. I could have just been like, I have the flu. And they'd have been like, do you want drugs for that? We'll give you drugs for it. And so they did. They run me drug prescription for COVID stuff and the flu. He told me I should take the flu stuff immediately. He said I have like within 5 days to take the COVID stuff. So I waited a couple days to see if the flu stuff helped. Then it did. So I just had the flu. And I tested myself again. It's not COVID. So, yeah, it doesn't really know what we're doing with telehealth. It doesn't really make any sense to me. I don't think that it should... my ability to get a prescription written is crazy. Like, I think I'd have to jump through more hoops to get, like, Blue Chew or something than to get medicine to heal me from the flu. So, thank you, telehealth, for that. I'm not going to say the name of the medical group. Yeah, I hate the flu. The flu sucks. Being sick is not a fun time. Well, I guess since this is January 1st when this is coming out, we should do a year in review. I think that's what we should do, because when your first episode is January 1 of 2024, you should cover the previous year. So the only like previous year thing that I do think, like, there's like a couple like absolutely insane things, and I have notes because I'm trying really hard on this podcast. You know what I mean? I don't know. I had crazy shows this year. I had some wild shows. I had some wild shows this year, guys. I think the craziest one I got booked to do is in DC. There's this booker, Lil Vita, and she runs shows at Shenanigans and at City State. The production company is called Catfish. The shows are fun. I have a really good time. It's a great place for me to work out. Like, I work out a ton of new jokes, and then like she'll also run like headlining shows and stuff that are really fun, and like all queer shows and stuff like that always get really good turnout. So she's killing it. The production side's killing it. But there was a show at the DC Comedy Loft this year that was like, they were playing, and Vita was helping produce it. So they were playing a documentary about January 6th. They're playing a January 6th documentary. And then I guess there's be a Q&A and then comedy afterwards. And then I just commented on Vita's thing, hey, this looks awesome. And then Vita goes, do you want a spot? And for about a day and a half, I had to like try to find a polite way to be like, absolutely not. I don't think that I would be good for this. And then I eventually just told her, I don't think I'm a good fit for this. I'm not a crazy political comic. That's not what I talk about. Like, I don't really feel like I should be the one doing this type of thing. But I didn't get booked on anything else, so I did it. I agreed to do it almost immediately. I was like, yes, this will be fun. This will be a good thing that I do. And I did it, and we go, and I get there, and I'm told beforehand, I thought I was doing 5 minutes, and I'm told, you're doing 15, which is too long. That's too long. That's too long of amount of time. to do comedy after a January 6th documentary. And I was also told by Vito when I got there, hey, we're a little nervous. Rumors going around that there's a January 6th truther who's coming to the show. So it might be like a whole thing. And I don't know about a lot, but I do know if you're at any event, no matter what the event you're doing, and they tell you that there is someone who is a thing truther, doesn't matter what the thing, just like blank truther, that's bad. That's not good. Usually truther doesn't really get thrown around with people that are easy to get along with or don't want to, screw shit up. I'm also not super concerned because it's like there's a January 6th documentary followed immediately by a January 6th Q&A with people. If this dude is waiting until the comedy portion to heckle, then this guy just hates comedy. It's just nothing. He's a stand-up truther. You know what I mean? Like he's a premise truther where he's like, that's not what really happened. That's an exaggeration. You know what I mean? He's a he's a stand-up comedy emotional truther. That's what we like to call them in the industry, and they can be an issue. There's just people out there that will just like correct stuff. Like I used to do a joke on stage about the George Foreman grill. And I said he had 8 children, all named George Foreman, including his daughter. And then they yelled, that's not true. And then we looked it up, and it was like one of his 8 children is not named George Foreman or something. Or it's like, okay, we get it, but you know what come on. What are we doing here, buddy? Why are we fact checking a George Foreman joke? You know what I mean? We're in a brewery right now. So yes, they tell me this January 6th truther, right? They tell me this. Everything's tense. There's people here. Also, I'll say this. Sometimes with comedy shows, when you're doing something with another form of media, like it was a bunch of journalists and then me. I was only a comedian there, other than Vita, but Vita's just like running the show. Like she's trying to make sure everything's good. She's making sure everything is set up and just like really. And then during the Q&A portion, she was going to walk around with the microphone to hand to audience members to ask questions, right? So it's like, okay, I'm only comic here, and when you do stuff with other forms of art or like other forms of media types of things, some of them are like really pretentious. It's like kind of wild. Like I got introduced to a few of the journalists, and they blew me off until they heard that I was on the show. And then they were like doing the worst thing you could possibly do, which is like find out you're a comic, and it was just like, I'm sure this audience will be the comedy, huh? They'll be the comedy. And I was like, shut up. I wrote jokes, all right? I wrote jokes for this specific event, and when they don't work, that is when I will dip into the audience, all right? Don't tell me that the audience is the comedy, all right? Because the audience is only the comedy if my comedy isn't the comedy, all right? Everyone that does crowd work knows that, okay? But I don't know, they gave me like a weird vibe where it's like they're nice, but it felt superficially nice because it's like they needed to see that I brought value to this show like that. Like, oh, I have a value. And it's like, I have value because I'm like a person, not because I'm doing So that rubbed me the wrong way. Now, they play the documentary, and it's about the Proud Boys. And if you don't know about the Proud Boys or whatever, they're basically, how can I put this? So the Proud Boys like a far-right militant extremist group, pretty violent, had a big hand in January 6th. But the documentary explains they started as an all-male drinking club, which the moment I heard that, I was like, oh, yeah, that explains all the extreme violence, right? Because I feel like that's, I don't know if you've ever been in an all-male drinking situation, but every time I've ever been in any situation where it's just a bunch of dudes drinking, we're about to see some incredible acts of violence. I feel like that's just how it is. You know what I mean? Like, perfect example, I have like a memory from high school where I went to this one party. I have one party memory in high school, very specific, where it was like me, 30 other dudes, no women showed up, and then it took all of 10 minutes of a bunch of dudes in the country drinking Coors Light to see no women were coming to the party, for one dude to go out to his car, bring in a pair of boxing gloves, and was like, we should fight. We should all fight each other. And they did. It was awesome. It was the best party I've ever been at. In my just a bunch of dude. Literally, the only way it could have been better is if they were all fighting each other outside of the Capitol. That I think it's just like, this would be so great with the Capitol building in the background. Like, I wish we could see the Washington Monument while we beat up these freshmen. So that's basically what the Proud Boys are, right? And that's one thing. Like that's fine. All right. But they're focusing on this one dude specifically named Enrique Tarrio. Now, Enrique Tarrio was like the leader of the Proud Boys, and he just got like 11 years or something in jail. Like he got like one of the biggest things in jail for like because of January 6th. But he wasn't at January 6th. Like he wasn't there. Like he got arrested for another crime. And it's like, do you know how bad your lawyers have to be? Like that's wild for your lawyers to be so bad. Like it's nuts, dude. I'm not an Enrique Tarrio fan, but I'm watching this documentary, and it's like he's not there, and I'm like, how bad do your lawyers have to be for you to like? I don't know, man. Every time I've ever watched any detective show, not being at the scene of the crime's like the number one thing for getting away with the crime, right? But not for Enrique. Not for Enrique. He did not get away with it at all, dude. Like his lawyers, they're talking to his lawyers, and it's just like their high-profile client just got like 20 or 30 years, some absurd amount of, like almost 3 decades, like some absurd amount of time for his ties to January 6th. And they don't even seem fazed. They're just like, well, we respect the court's decision. Like, dude, I don't know. I'd be losing it if my lawyer, whether I did it or not, was like, oh, we respect it. We gave it our best shot, and Lady Liberty really let us have it. I don't know, man. It's just nuts to me. So that's like Enrique's whole thing. He wasn't even at the scene of the crime. He didn't do it. Like, but they said he got arrested on purpose. Like, there's a whole thing. It's a really interesting, fun documentary. It was like 35 minutes long. I liked it a lot. The one thing that was really wild is they kept talking about Enrique, and they'd be like, in one moment, they're just talking about him in the interviews, and they're like, in one moment, Enrique Tarrio would be the most likable man we've ever met, and we'd be having the best time. And then the next moment, he would say the most problematic thing we've ever heard. And I was like, oh, dude, Enrique just does comedy. You know, like that's it. That's a lot of comedy, right? A lot of comedy is just like a dude trying to get away with saying something, like comedy is trying to make someone like you enough that you can say something problematic. That's what a lot of it is at the open mic level. So that's a documentary. So that plays, right? And then they do a 30-minute Q&A, and it's just like sincere, real questions, but all these questions go by, and no January 6th truther. So like all my fears are kind of gone. I'm like, right now it's just up to me if I have a good set, right? Like that's all I have to do is I just have to have a good set. I just have to do okay. Like that's all I care about is like, can my set work? Will I do a good job? And then Vita comes up to me, and Vita goes, hey, we're going to ask one more question. Then we're going to wrap it up. Then we're going to go ahead and bring you on stage. I was like, that's great, right? And they go up to this little old lady, and it's like, she's got a mask on, so you're like, oh, she's not a January 6th truther, right? Because I don't think the January 6th truther, like, afraid of COVID Venn diagram. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot. That's just two separate circles, I think. Like, there's not a lot of overlap in that. And that is when I proceed. They ask this little old lady, and this little old lady goes, yeah, I'm so-and-so. I'm a member. I am an active member of the anti-fascist movement. I'm an activist in the anti-fascist movement, and then she points to one of the journalists on stage and accuses him of being a fascist. Now, and I mean, like, the silence is deafening while she's accusing this guy. Like, this guy that isn't a fascist. Obviously, he's not a fascist. But he kind of blew me off at the beginning of the night, so I'm in the corner just being like, yeah, get him. Get that fascist. But he's not a fascist. He's a dude that like records and reports on it, and because he talks to everybody, I guess he's got a reputation for really crazy left-wing anti-fascist people where they can't even hear like the other people talk, like by like the people that believe that giving them a platform is wrong, where it's like he's just letting them talk and I think showing people how crazy these folks are, like these actual Nazis are. But she's accusing this guy of being a fascist for like 3 or 4 minutes. Like, that's the question. And it's dead silent. And then all the other panelists start defending that guy, saying we would have not gotten this stuff. We wouldn't have gotten access to these people if it wasn't for so-and-so. And I'm not going to say anybody's names or whatever, because it's like they seem like a pretty litigious group of people, but I absolutely have the video of this interaction, and I'm going to post it on the YouTube. So please like, follow, subscribe, and share, and you'll get to see a grown man get called a fascist. And so he gets defended, and it's whatever. And I'm like, oh, God, okay. Jesus, the room was tense. And then Vita goes, all right, guys, are you ready for some comedy? And smattering's not even the word for the type of applause that we got. Like, it's brutal, right? So I get brought on stage post fascist thing, and here's the deal. I felt bad for him because when you're accused of being a fascist, you can't really respond in a way that like you should be able to, right? Like, he gets called a fascist, and you can't be like, what'd you say to me? Take that microphone out of her hands. Who let you speak? Because that's fascist behavior, right? So you kind of just have to sit and take it. And so I feel bad for this dude, but then I got to come up to just one of the tightest, like, people that if everything had gone well wouldn't have wanted to see me do comedy. You know what I mean? Like, dude, this could have been the greatest night of all time, and then they would just be using me to do the checks, right? So I get on stage, and I start, dealing with it. I get heckled immediately, like within the first second, and like I handled it immediately, and then it was done. Like, it just happened. I was like, what'd you say? And they're like, oh, nothing. I was like, that's what I thought. And we go back on track. And guys, I was killing. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really know how I feel about like having a great set, and it's like, I don't know. I don't think you want to find out your crowd is a room full of people after one of them gets accused of being a fascist, right? Like, I don't want to find out that that's I don't want to be walking around following Proud Boys being like, hey, after this rally, can I do like 5 to 10? You guys cool? You guys do 5 minutes? You guys just go up top, just kind of like riff and raff and hit them with it? Like, I don't know. You don't want to do that, right? But it's like, it's upsetting. It's upsetting how well I was doing. Like, I'm crushing, right? And I'm supposed to do 15 to 20 minutes. I get a light at, I think, 8 or 9 minutes. And I would be honest if I was bombing. I was doing really, really, really well. I addressed what happened. It killed. I had written all these jokes very specific to what we're seeing. I had come up with ideas. I was riffing on the documentary. And I had all this stuff that went together with it. And I was really excited and proud of I was stoked to do it, right? I got a light at 9 minutes, and I take that to mean, okay, something is going on. This woman is like probably now screaming at this guy in the hallway, and they just need the show to be over. So for the health of the show, I say, hey, I got one joke left. I wrap it up. It's done, right? Whatever. I get off stage, and Vita comes up to me, and Vita goes, why did you get off stage? I was like, the dude lit me. And she goes, yeah, I talked to him about that. He wasn't supposed to light you then. He just wanted to go home. He just wanted to leave. He was ready to go. So he thought he would light you early, and I wouldn't know about it. And here's the thing. That's fine. You work at a comedy club. That's not a glamorous, great job. It's the middle of the week, and the show's going a little long. You want to go home. I'm not upset about that at all. Like, I'm a nobody. I'm a no-name person, right? But My only question is, if we had had the ability to end portions of the show earlier, why did we wait for the part that was going good? You know what I mean? Why did we have to wait for that? Like, I would have been sick if we'd have done that the moment that fascist left the thing. Could she, like, flash a light in that lady's face? Is there any way to do that? I think that was probably... That's the wildest show that I haven't blacked out. I know I've had worse sets. I've bombed a lot this year. That's true. Do I have any other specific shows? The January 6th one I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah, I had another show where it's like, I do these jokes about... I love checking the watch here, man. I do these jokes about furries a lot. I've been like... It's the thing I've been working on this year, trying to do like furry jokes where they're not the butt of the joke all the time, and it's been really fun to go on the road and work on this furry stuff. And I finally had it. I finally had a furry at the show. They've seen them online. Instagram furries, not fans. They don't really fans of my work. They don't really seem to have good senses of humor or understand comedy in any facets, way, shape, or form. But on TikTok, the furries they like me. I want to meet some of these folks. They seem pretty cool. But I finally met one in person. I was closing out a show. I got a clip of this as well. It has not been posted. I've been very lazy and depressed and I have anxiety. But this lady, I'm doing these jokes about furries, and she yells that she's one, and we talk. And the thing that was interesting was, I was like, that's crazy you're comfortable talking about it. She goes, oh, yeah. She's like, this has come up a lot before in my life. She's like, I have to talk about it all the time because I got asked it for government clearance. So apparently she's got the type of job where, like, they asked her questions about literally anything and everything. And I truly believe that furries should be in charge of all of this nation's secrets. I believe that. I heard that, and it made perfect sense. I was like, this is who should be in charge of the secrets of the United States of America. It should be furries. It should only be furries, right? Because, dude, what are you going to blackmail a public and proud furry with to get them to turn on their country? You know, what is Russia or China going to do to get the furry lady who is in public screaming that she's a furry and that she has government clearance? What are they going to do to get her to give up government secrets? The only chance you got is, like, I'm going to give her a better furry costume. You know what I mean? And they're not going to do that. We all know that the USA is probably cranking out the greatest and most top-notch furry outfits you can possibly get. But then we talked after the show, and yeah, she was cool. She was cool. It's her and her husband, and they both have a high government clearance, and they both were, like, just fun and geeky and awkward and awesome. And yeah, I think that's who should be in charge. I think the president should be a furry. I think that's great, man. The president should be furry. How much fun? All politicians should be furries. Every single one of them, man. Congress would rock, dude. Congress would be awesome, dude. Just got George Santos lying in a lion costume. It's like, come on, dude. Just do George Santos, the gay lion. That would be... And George, rest in peace, George. I miss you. I liked George. I was a George Santos fan. All right, he tried to pass like 170 bills. None of them passed. Republicans hated him. Democrats hated him. He's a guy that couldn't get anything done. He was just... I don't know, man. There's something really fun about, like, really right-wing problematic shit getting said in the gayest voice I've ever heard in my life. It's awesome, dude. It rocks. It's amazing that a dude got fired for lying in Congress. That's unbelievable. I didn't even know that could happen. That's great. Do you know how much you have to lie for, like, Republicans and Democrats to be like, you need to stop? George, you're making us all look bad. You're making us all look bad, George. And that's what I want. I want George Santos just saying problematic shit in a gay voice. He's just walking around being like, oh, my God, your body, my choice, sister. And he just snaps like a dozen times. It'd be amazing. Oh, nobody takes guns away from daddy. Bang, 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 bang. Dude, that is awesome. That would be amazing. He was naming bills after Taylor Swift and Nicki Minaj. He passed an anti-vax bill that was called the Minaj Act, or he tried to pass. He was writing bills named after pop stars. Like, that's what I want. It's like, I'm trying to write into law the Lady Lady Gaga no more abortion bill. And it's like, man, why do you not vote for that? How do you not like that? I don't know. Rest in peace, George. That was another thing. George Santos. It's wild, dude. People in D.C. hate that guy. And it's like, I think he's fun and probably no more corrupt than literally every other politician. Like, at least he wasn't getting felt up during Beetlejuice. The Republicans were taking a lot of L's this year, man. I think taking a lot of them, dude. It's got dude, a lot of L's. Also, when is Bill Maher just going to be on Fox News? When is that going to happen? And here's the deal. My family's really conservative. I flip pretty far left to center. I don't think all Republicans are stupid, but it's like, dude, Bill Maher is like, he's gonna get a Fox News show, and I think it's gonna be really good for him, man. It's like he's got HBO, he's got his podcast in his garage, which feels like that feels like the transition to Fox News. I feel like it goes HBO, starting a show in your garage where you bring people in and you yell at Seth MacFarlane about vaccines for an hour and a half, which if you haven't seen that clip, you've got to look it up, dude. Where it's like Seth MacFarlane making really good vaccine points. And the whole time I'm just like, do the Consuela voice. Do it. Compare the vaccines to having no more lemon pledge. Do it, Seth. Yeah, it's a fun. I would say I would recommend watching that one. Yeah, but I think Bill's going to end up at Fox News. That's my bold prediction in 2024. He's going to be the quote unquote liberal guy on Fox News, and he'll have a show come on right after Gutfeld, which if there's any writing jobs on that, I would love one. I would love a career. I would gladly sell out what I believe in to write monologue jokes for Republican James Corden. I would love that. I would love right-wing James Corden to read my jokes about vaccines and pronouns. That would be incredible. Yeah, I went to before we wrap up here, because I tell you what, right now, I'm killing it on this podcast, guys. I'm trying to keep it to 40 to 45 minutes a week. But before we get to the last thing I'd like to talk about, this one, come see me do a show. Come see me live. I'm much better and funnier live than I am on podcast. I'll get better at this. I know that I will. I know that I will. But if you want to see some shows that I'm doing and putting on, January 10th at the Alamo Draft House in Crystal City in Arlington, Virginia, I got a show at 7:30. Killer comics. I got Jamal Russell headlining, and some other just absolutely amazing comics on that show. We got Phil Mike, Maura Feiner, and Hector Castro is hosting. That's like a monthly show. Check it out. I got tickets in my bio. January 12th through 13th, I'll be headlining in Asheville, North Carolina. I believe 2 shows on the 12th, 1 show on the 13th. It's a holiday weekend. Please come out. I'll have Matilda Epstein with me opening up. January 19th through 20th, I'll be in Pittsburgh. Gaslight Comedy has me there on the 19th. Don't Tell Comedy has me there on the 20th. So yeah, 2 shows total. Sandy Benton will be with me opening up. Then January 21st, I'm at the DC Improv. I'll be featuring for Kristen Key. She's very funny. It'll be my first time working with her. She's also a lesbian with glasses. So I think I think that's what we got matched up, is what my guess is on that one. Oh yeah, almost forgot. January 11th, DC Comedy Loft. Jasmine Burton and Benny Nokebia are putting on a show where I will be the token white guy. So come out. Come watch me say borderline problematic shit on an all-black show at the DC Comedy Loft. It's going to be amazing. And then January 25th, I'm at Aurora Market in DC. And January 27th, I'm headlining Baltimore Don't Tell Comedy. So that's what I got through the month of January right now. But yeah, come and check it out. last thing I'd like to talk about before we just absolutely get out of here. What's going on at Walmart, man? What is going on? Do we have any idea what's going on in Walmart? Do we have any clue whatsoever? Dude, I haven't been to Walmart in literal forever. And I went the day after Christmas. And I tell you, the day after Christmas, they were already putting up the candy for Valentine's Day. Just the saddest sight I've ever seen. I don't want to do any hacky or stereotypical making fun of Walmart thing, but dude, Walmart in the country is different. All right, it's not the same. All right, country Walmarts are not. Walmarts in the city are just kind of like whatever, man. There's stuff missing, stuff whatever. It just looks like a kind of a crappy store, but you got a bunch of it's whatever. Walmart in the country is different. All right. Walmarts with a giant parking lot are different. In cities, they don't have that huge parking lot. You go to the country, you got to do where I'm from. Walmart's where you hung out. You hung out in the parking lot of the Walmart, right? The dudes with the biggest trucks would park there. You would go. You would hang out. The Walmarts were 24 hours, so you could just go in and use the bathrooms at the Walmart. Dude, where I am from, there was a Walmart, and in that Walmart's parking lot was a Ruby Tuesdays. And in that, the Walmart parking lot had a Ruby Tuesdays and a Ruby Tuesdays parking lot. Like it's where a giant American flag is flown. It's crazy. It'd be like a Walmart parking lot, Ruby Tuesdays in that parking lot. They're flying the American flag and the Ruby Tuesdays flag. And if there's a national tragedy, the Ruby Tuesdays flag is not at half-mast. Just the American flag. Half-priced apps. They never die. Long live the salad bar. We love those croutons. I'm not a Ruby Tuesdays guy. That part's a joke. But I've eaten at it a lot in celebration for high school sporting events. But the Walmart, that's where you hang out. It's different, man. Like, dude, Walmart's in the country. The DVD aisles are still flowing, man. Dude, I was at the Walmart back home, one of them, and I went to the electronics aisle. I almost bought DVDs. I came so close to buying DVDs because they had some good ones. They had the $5 bin. They had vinyl. They had CDs. They had DVDs, Blu-rays, just multiple aisles. Dude, it's just stuck in its own little world. And here's the thing, man. It's not just that they have DVDs. DVDs are sold out at the country Walmarts, dude. There's people buying DVDs in the country. They're doing it, man. It's what they have to do to survive. They don't have internet. Not everywhere. But you still want to watch whatever the new Fast and the Furious movie is, right? Like, you still want to do that. You don't have Disney Plus, so you have to buy the complete first season of Loki on DVD. I didn't even know that they had some of this shit on DVD. And they do. They got streaming shows on DVD. You can buy The Last of Us Season 1 on DVD, $35 at a Walmart. They got complete series of Gunsmoke. That's 20-something seasons of a Western. They had every episode of it for $200. And there was only one copy left. People love it, man. I don't know, man. I think Walmart's just... I've got so many memories. I used to grocery shop in Walmart late at night. I'm going to go get my groceries at Walmart, and I'm going to go at 3 a.m. in the morning. That's what I did when I was in college. I would go grocery shop at 3 a.m. in the morning in my pajamas. The fattest point of my life. Just the fattest I've ever been. Shopping in Walmart while people are stocking the Walmart. It's depressing. But I don't think they're 24 hours anymore. I think COVID ended that. I think we can blame Joe Biden. I will blame him for that. I'm not going to blame him for not being able to ride a bike because I also can't do that. I respect that about Joe. But I'll absolutely blame Joe for taking away 24-hour Walmarts. Well, yeah, man, that's all I pretty much wanted to talk about today for the first one. I hope you liked it. This is, I believe, the format of the show. I think sometimes I'll have guests on. I don't know. I definitely want to do some more stuff with videos. I'm not always going to film it here. I just have the flu, so I can't do it where we're normally doing it. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, follow me on Instagram or TikTok at WinstonHcomedy. Go to the Winston Hodges YouTube where video of this podcast will be up every week. Audio will be up on Spotify and hopefully other things same day. But yeah, I greatly appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed listening to this, and please make sure you catch me in January, guys. I'd love to see you. Don't forget, January 12th and 13th, Asheville, North Carolina. January 19th and 20th, Pittsburgh. January 21st, DC Improv. January 27th, Baltimore, Maryland. Please, ticket links are in bio. Please come out and see me. I love you. Good night. Amazing. Bye.